Mic check 1 2. It's the Y2K collector coming at you on a cool, well, really not cool. It's kind of a warm Sunday morning, but this is a screen that you never want to see. And this is a big part of the reason why I'm always hesitant to buy disc only games from GameStop, because especially when you buy the GameCube ones, they have a tendency to either not work or stop working on you, and then you have to return them. So what you're looking at here is my attempt to get Mario Party 7 to work. So I picked up a copy of Mario Party 7 from GameStop during their buy two get one, and let's see if the game will even eject for me. Here we go. So I'm trying to get it to work on my GameCube, but if you look at it here, you'll see that the game itself has like this, I don't even know what this stuff is around the circle of it. Kind of just looks like a film, some type of paste, and I'm not sure if that's like residue from a resurfacing machine or what, but some of these GameCube games, they tend to have that right there in the center, and a lot of times they will work, but this Mario Party 7 has been giving me some issues here. So I'm gonna try to turn it off and turn it back on and see if we can get it to work. Hopefully we can, but if not, it's gonna be one of those games that I have to return back to the store, which would suck if I had to do that. But while I work on trying to get this to load, I wanted to talk about something that's on the way that I think is really going to impact the way people shop for video games and people's ability to engage in the hobby altogether. And this isn't just specific to retro games. This is, I think, something that will impact all video games, modern games and retro games. And by the way, as you all can see, this is my original Wii that I've had for, man, I've had this for over, God knows how long I've had this. But I remember when let me just zoom in for you here. I remember when Nintendo, the Wii, there was still like the online Wii shop. And I think they shut this down not too long ago. But before, you were able to go on Nintendo's eShop and purchase games. And before I started really getting into retro, and this is how I knew I was into retro, even before I started like really collecting for retro hardware, I would go back and download like Streets of Rage 2, Streets of Rage 3, Smash, even Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Mario 64. I was downloading retro games onto my Wii. Is this Mega Man? Look, Mega Man X2. I thought I downloaded Mega Man X. I didn't realize I downloaded Mega Man X2. So look at that, Mega Man X2. I wonder if this will show me when I downloaded this. But yeah, I've been downloading and getting into retro games for a long time. So it's just funny, every time I connect some of my old systems and I see Gunstar Heroes, I look at some of the games that I downloaded on there. It's just funny because now I do have a lot of these games, you know, physically, but I've always been into retro. But anyway, let's see if we can get this Mario Party 7 to work. So as I was saying, there's something coming up here within the next few months that is going to change things. Now, we know that one of the biggest groups, right, the biggest demographic for collecting retro games was that Gen X generation, right? Folks that are in their 40s, maybe early 50s. That was the generation that was around for like the NES, the Sega Master System, the Super Nintendo. They were like in their teens, maybe even in their early 20s during like the height of like the Sega versus Nintendo wars and stuff like that. And those folks, for the most part, I want to say are probably somewhat financially stable at this point. If not, that's sad. I would hope that they are. But most of that generation should have some type of financial footing. They should be into their careers. I mean, heck, some of them cats should be looking at retirement. You know, they're well on their way. Oh, look, Mario, it looks like it's going to work, but then this thing cuts out on me. So let's see if Mario Party 7 will work. So that generation, right, is the generation that's, probably working towards, um, retirement and things like that. Oh, look, see, it stopped working. There it goes. I think I might have to return Mario Party 7 because it just will not work. I'm going to try to see if it'll do the same thing to me on my actual GameCube. So I'm going to hook that up in a second. But I might as well take this out. But when you think about the millennial generation, right? The millennial generation is the generation that's right behind Generation X. And they're the ones that are, I think, pushing the retro scene. A lot of them are pushing even the video game scene. I mean, if you look at a lot of the popular YouTubers, a lot of them fall in that millennial category. Yeah, you might have a few Gen Xers here and there, but a lot of those guys are in their like late 20s to mid 30s, and they're a part of that millennial generation. And if there's anything that, millennials know, one of the biggest bills that millennials have is student loans, right? Millennials have more student loan debt than I want to say probably any other generation before. And I don't know about the generation that came after us, but millennials hold a lot of student loan debt. And for the last 4 years, student loan debt has been pretty much put on pause. We've gotten forbearances and pauses, and we got promises of forgiveness, and some people did get their loans forgiven. But for the unlucky ones who did not get their loans forgiven, student loans are a huge cloud that's hanging over their head. And what are we in, July? In about 3 months, a lot of millennials are going to have no choice but to either start paying up or start taking some serious financial blows. And financial blows, I mean wage garnishment, as well as hits to their credit score and hits on their credit report. Because if there's one thing that you can't run from, it's student loan debt. Student loan debt, you can't file for bankruptcy and get rid of student loan debt. Student loan debt is like there, and it's there to stay. And I think that because a large, the demographic that kind of supports this hobby at this stage of the game is millennials, because we have such a heavy influence and because we bear so much of the cost of this hobby. And I'm not saying it's all millennials, but I would say millennials probably contribute at least 35 to 40% right now, financially, to the hobby of gaming video games, because they have the expendable cash. Millennials are the ones that are into their careers. They have a little bit more money, they have a little bit more stable jobs, but once those student loans kick in, even if you have the disposable income, you're probably going to be less likely to go out there and start spending money on games, because that is an added expense that I think is going to impact a lot of folks. So, it's kind of tough, and it'll be interesting to see, how it impacts gamers moving forward, but we'll have to just see what happens. So hopefully you have a plan for your student loans. If you have student loans, hopefully you're already paying them back, and even better, hopefully you've paid them off. But I do see this impacting a lot of millennials towards the end of the year, because I think the student loan debt piece is probably the last shoe to drop. And once student loans resume, that's when I think from a financial standpoint, everything will really be back to normal. Because, rent has, the rent moratoriums have been removed. Stimulus for the most part is gone. All of the financial cushions that have been in place for the last 4 years have slowly been removed little by little. And I think that's why you're seeing so many people begin to struggle that fall into a certain financial demographic. But I think student loans are the last financial shoe to drop from, everything that we experienced 4 years ago. So I'm interested to know what you all think. Let me know down in the comments. By the way, we've had some great discussions on the video that I dropped yesterday regarding the PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 1 through PlayStation 5 and just the fun factor. But I'm interested to know your thoughts here. What do you guys think is going to happen towards the end of this year? Do you think that 2025 is really going to be the year of struggle? I mean, that's what a lot of people are saying. Inflation is still very high. Home affordability is still extremely low. And I'm just trying to figure out where video games and this hobby is going to fall as people start to restructure their priorities and their needs lists. But let me know down in the comments. It's the Y2K Collector. Gonna start working on a couple videos for you guys. No game hunting for me. My game hunting time is over. So it's gonna be, as you can see, I'm here in the house. Look at that. It looks like both of my equipment boxes threw up all over the room. So I've got a bunch of cords and controllers I need to sort out. I've got a bunch of games that I need to kind of sort out and put away. And I need to start organizing stuff to do some selling. So I want to do some restructuring of the game room and my game shelves and kind of try to set things up for a better aesthetic for when I record videos. I really want to kind of change up my recording scene, my format. So a few things to work on today, but I'll be in touch and hopefully you all enjoy your Sunday. It's the Y2K Collector. Take it easy.